It is Thursday, the 4th of August, about 4 days to the August polls. Good evening and welcome to Newswatch and Hope TV, where you look and live. I'm Tess Njenga and our sign language interpreter is Bonfils Murithi. Let us kick off. The court has ordered the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, to use a manual register to identify voters in the August polls. The High Court declared the decision by IEBC to scrap use of the manual voters register in every polling station in the upcoming polls as unconstitutional. Justice Mugure Dhande has quashed the Electoral Commission decision of June 10th on grounds that they acted outside the parameters of the law and the Constitution. Dickens Luvanda now reports.
The Electoral Commission IEBC will now be forced to use the manual voter register in supplement to the digital register following a High Court ruling ordering the Commission to do so.
In light of the ruling, the High Court ruling today, we have a detailed a statement that we want to make on that. And so if you can hold your horse, the chairman will possibly be coming here in a short time to make that ruling. That statement.
IEBC had ruled out the possibilities of using the manual voter register, a move that the Azimio One Kenya Alliance coalition had protested, saying this will lock out some of the persons living with disabilities, the elderly and the Jua Kali workers, whose fingerprints have been tampered with due to the nature of their jobs and their old age. The Kenya Kwanza Alliance, however, supported IEBC's move, saying technology allows use of digital register and that the Commission had embraced technology.
Every presiding officer shall have a unique password to open the RTS system. The system shall only allow the presiding officer to open the RTS application after the close of voter identification, that is polling. We only have one register. The register that the political parties are buying now and the register that will have been uploaded in the KIMS kit and for the county, and the register that has been uploaded for the people that actually registered to vote in that particular station.
The Commission has since protested the ruling, saying such a ruling only derails election preparation.
Kutakuwa na security beyond polling station. General, yetu ni, for IPC, our area is until where it is marked. But outside, there will be also other general security kuangalia usalama. Ndio tunaimiza wa Kenya, ukisha pika kura, enda nyumbani.
IEBC on Thursday, led by Commissioners Irene Masit and Justice Nyang'aya, also gave an update on the election preparations, saying all the printed presidential ballot papers have arrived in the country and are securely stored ahead of official distribution to the polling stations. Even though all the strategic election materials have been distributed from Nairobi, IEBC says the distribution of all election material and training of election officials will be completed by Sunday this week.
We have done almost everything except transferring ballot papers to the various constituencies and counties. By 6th, actually I need to revise that because that is what we were saying previously, but then some of the court cases came a bit too late in the day. And so now, some ballot papers have not arrived, and they will arrive tomorrow.
The materials which have gone to the ground are more than 90%. In fact, it is all the non-strategic have been delivered. It's only strategic, like now ballot, the way you had. There are some we are waiting. But all of them, most of them have arrived, including the presidential.
Dickens Luvanda, Hope TV Newswatch.
Thank you, Dickens, for that report. Now, with exactly 4 days to the general election, the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya has called upon politicians vying for various electoral positions in the country to establish a tradition of accepting election results. EAK says a concession speech accepting defeat or a winner's speech with magnanimity can go a long way in cementing national cohesion, adding that any disagreements concerning election results should be pursued through legally laid down mechanisms. As Kennedy Kimani now reports, government agencies with security mandate have been urged to enforce the law promptly without fear, favor or discrimination to ensure security of all the people and guarantee their democratic right to vote.
Politicians vying for various electoral positions in the country have been called upon to establish a tradition of accepting election results. EAK says a concession speech, accepting defeat or a winner's speech with magnanimity can go a long way in cementing national cohesion as the country goes to the polls on Tuesday next week.
We call on all political leaders at all levels to establish a tradition of accepting electoral results. A concession speech accepting defeat or a winner's speech with the magnanimity can go a long way in cementing national cohesion. Socioeconomic costs of election conflicts are massive and cause human suffering to citizens, especially the vulnerable, particularly women and children, and therefore ought to be avoided. Any disagreement concerning election results should be pursued through legally laid down mechanisms.
Relevant organs of government have been urged to ensure peaceful transitions at all levels, with the government security agencies called upon to enforce the law without discrimination.
We call on all government agencies with security mandate to enforce the law promptly and without fear, favor or discrimination to ensure security of all the people and guarantee their democratic right to vote. Evangelical Alliance of Kenya affirms her commitment to remain non-partisan in this political space, and we encourage all religious leaders to work towards the unity of the nation. We call on the IEBC to ensure free, fair, verifiable, and credible elections.
Political players have further been called upon to accord IEBC officials respect to execute their mandate, with the IEBC urged to ensure they conduct a free, fair, verifiable, and credible elections. Kennedy Kimani, Hope TV Newswatch, Nairobi.
Much appreciated, Kennedy. Now, the civil society in the country has told off the cabinet for demanding Kenyatta University land without involving the leadership of the university. The society, in a press briefing, expressed concern with the exclusion of Vice-Chancellor Professor Paul Wainaina in meetings leading to the decision to hive off a portion of the land, saying the move was a breach of law. The civil society has hailed the university's vice-chancellor and the council for standing their ground and defending the institution, saying the university has a master plan on how it's going to use its land and that the land is not just sitting idle. They have issued a raft of demands to the government, including calling for a stop to the harassment of Kenyatta University staff. Let's listen in.
The civil society is greatly disappointed by this culture of impunity, which continues to be perpetrated by state cronies to suppress and undermine the rule of law, and we hereby demand the following: that the government holds any development and subdivisions on the land pending the determination of ELC petition E029/2022. What's the hurry for? What's the emergency? What is burning? Why can't this process be followed through? Number two, that the government stops the unethical and completely shameless harassment of Kenyatta University staff, as well as deploying a more compliant administration to facilitate the land acquisition and excision. Number three, that the National Land Commission comes out to condemn this illegality and implements its mandate. It's a constitutional mandate. They should not feel shy about it. They are not being done for a favor. Number 4, that students, alumni of the public institution strongly come out and call out the government on this illegality. Number 5, that the executive respects constitutional commissions and the attendant legal processes.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has challenged 350 newly hired seafarers to be good brand ambassadors of the Kenyan nation, saying their conduct will determine the demand for Kenyan maritime professionals by international shipping lines. The head of state at the Kenya Maritime Academy in Mombasa County during the flagging off ceremony of 350 young Kenyan seafarers recently recruited by Atlanta-based Celebrity Cruises. Earlier, President Kenyatta, who was on a day-long working tour of Mombasa County, commissioned several infrastructural projects, among them the new 4.5 billion shillings Makupa Bridge, the offshore Kipevu Oil Terminal, and the Liwatoni Fisheries Complex.
Nawashukuru sana kwa ukaribisho wenu, tukiwa tumekuja kufungua kirasmi hii daraja ambaye itatusaidia kwa usafirizaji sasa wa mizigo. Wananchi nyote nyinyi wa Jomvu mnajua msongamano ulikuwa hapa, si ni kweli? Si mnajua? Sasa hiyo ni history.
Kuna dual carriageway ambao umetengeneza yapita hapa yaenda pale Bangala mpaka Jomvu. Hiyo ni juhudi ya Mheshimiwa Rais, mpigeni makofi.
The ones that went before you did great for this country. My only plea is for you also to go, work hard, and open the gates for other Kenyans to get these jobs.
And now with 2,000 more of you leaving, mine is for you to also be great ambassadors, so that the work of your hands and your minds, the integrity of your service, the loyalty you show to your employers, the commitment to your guests on the various liners that you shall be serving on, will ensure that not just our two friends here, but many others will come back again and say, we are also looking for more.
Now switching to politics, Kenya Kwanza presidential candidate William Ruto has called out his opponents in Azimio la Umoja and some local media stations for what he termed as propagating hate. Speaking during a press briefing on Thursday, Ruto claimed that chiefs and public commissioners are being coerced to support their opponents and conduct voter bribery. The DP has also called out the National Cohesion and Integration Commission and the Directorate of Criminal Investigations for failing to take action. He is now asking various stakeholders to intervene so as to curb violence.
Vijana wako wengi hawana kazi, hawana ajira, na wao wamesema wanataka hasla awasaidie wapate ajira, waweze kutunza familia zao na wafanye kazi.
Leo ni leo, wasema kesho ni Mheshimiwa Rais wa 5 wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, karibu Mombasa, na Mombasa imeamua.
Mimi nawauliza wazazi wa Makueni na wazazi wa Kenya, mkubali mwaka huu tuunde serikali ambayo itapanga ajira ya hawa vijana. Na tumesema hivi, mwaka huu kwa mara ya kwanza this year tutakuwa na mpango maalum, Marshall Plan ya ajira ya hawa vijana. Tutaweka bilioni 200 kila mwaka kutengeneza textile, leather, wood industry, pamoja na agroprocessing, value addition, manufacturing, housing. Ndio tupange ajira ya hawa vijana. Kila kijana ajisimamie akiwa na kazi, akiwa na ajira ama biashara, asimamie familia yake na watusaidie kujenga taifa letu la Kenya.
The team later on took campaigns to Makueni and Mombasa counties today, where they drummed up support for their bottom-up agenda, saying they will give jobs to the youth around the country.
I want 100% turnout this time. Not a single vote should go uncast. Those who are sick, who are in wards in the hospital, go and get them.
Vijana wako wengi hawana kazi, hawana ajira, na wao wamesema wanataka hasla awasaidie wapate ajira, waweze kutunza familia zao na wafanye kazi.
Leo ni leo, wasema kesho ni Mheshimiwa Rais wa 5 wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, karibu Mombasa, na Mombasa imeamua.
Mimi nawauliza wazazi wa Makueni na wazazi wa Kenya, mkubali mwaka huu tuunde serikali ambayo itapanga ajira ya hawa vijana. Na tumesema hivi, mwaka huu kwa mara ya kwanza this year tutakuwa na mpango maalum, Marshall Plan ya ajira ya hawa vijana. Tutaweka bilioni 200 kila mwaka kutengeneza textile, leather, wood industry, pamoja na agroprocessing, value addition, manufacturing, housing. Ndio tupange ajira ya hawa vijana. Kila kijana ajisimamie akiwa na kazi, akiwa na ajira ama biashara, asimamie familia yake na watusaidie kujenga taifa letu la Kenya.
We apologize for that mix-up in bites. Let's take that story again. Kenya Kwanza presidential candidate William Ruto has called out his opponents in Azimio la Umoja and some local media stations for what he termed as propagating hate. Speaking during a press briefing earlier today, Ruto claimed that chiefs and public commissioners are being coerced to support their opponents and conduct voter bribery. The DP has also called out the National Cohesion and Integration Commission and the Directorate of Criminal Investigations for failing to take action. He is now asking various stakeholders to intervene so as to curb violence.
We cannot sit pretty and see the same things that have happened in Kenya happen again. We committed ourselves after 2007 that we will never, ever again go back to the politics of ethnicity and division and violence. But there are people, having realized that they cannot win this election, they want to disrupt this election. They want to cause conflict in this election. And that is why we are calling on every state agency and our friends in the international community to speak to this matter, because it is a matter of concern. The regional commissioner, Maalim Mohamed of Rift Valley, the county commissioners, Samson Ojuang of Trans Nzoia, and Stephen Kihara of Uasin Gishu, and Erastus Mbui of Nakuru are part of this scheme. They are the people holding night meetings to orchestrate and to plan conflict among us Kenyans. And unfortunately, the President of Kenya is aware. We are asking His Excellency the President, in his constitutional duty as the President of Kenya, to ensure that the country is safe and to stop these people from planning the evil that they are planning.
Still in politics, Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate Raila Odinga has dismissed reports from Kenya Kwanza that they are planning to use chiefs and government organizations to interfere with the next general election, saying Ruto's statement today to journalists is a trick as he has already seen the signs of losing the election. While expressing his confidence to win next week's general election, Odinga has asked his supporters to come out in large numbers and vote 100% in an effort to achieve their agenda to improve the country's economy and the lives of every Kenyan.
I want 100% turnout this time. Not a single vote should go uncast. Those who are sick, who are in wards in the hospital, go and get them, to take them to the polling station to vote and take them back to the wards. Those who are disabled should be enabled to go and cast their votes. Those, the youth of Kenya, the youth of Nyanza should not sleep that night. No sleeping. All be awake and go to cast your votes. The way you know how to do. Okay? And that's why I've told the people who are running against us, Uhuru is the outgoing president of the Republic of Kenya. Leave him alone. Let him go and retire in peace. If you have a problem, face Raila Odinga and Martha Karua squarely. Don't come with shadow boxing and shadow shows. Uhuru want to rig the elections using provincial administration, or there's intention to intimidate members of the IEBC and so on. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Ati Matiang'i, Sijina Mcheru are talking to the administration officer and so on. We do not need the chiefs, assistant chiefs or administration to win these elections.
Well, let us now take our first break on Newswatch tonight. After the break, we have a special feature on the plight of trees, so stick around for that.
Trees are important to us. They give us shade, they reduce the impact of stormwater runoff, they reduce the effects of drought.
The forest is facing quite a number of challenges.
Situated in the middle of a concrete jungle is Nairobi's largest indigenous urban forest.
It is the biggest indigenous forest within a city in Kenya.
We are getting people coming to do the illegal dumping in the forest.
We also have some opportunistic criminals who, once they commit crime, they run into the forest to hide.
Join us on Thursday, 4th August 2022 as we bring you special coverage on the plight of trees, Ngong Road Forest, only on Hope TV Newswatch, where you look and live.
Coming up this September, CITAM Springboard Convention 2022 with fresh anointing to radiate God's glory as we reach out to the lost. Mark and save these dates from the 20th to the 24th September 2022 at CITAM Valley Road. The convention is themed Till the Whole World Hears and will definitely revive and uplift your faith. The Bible tells us in Matthew chapter 24 verse 14, and this gospel of the kingdom will be preached to the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. Get ready for the Springboard Convention 2022. You don't want to miss it.
On Hope Junction, every Saturday, get to enjoy songs that cater to the young and young at heart. let the beat keep your head nodding.
Right now, what you love is amazing. Make we just
That's every Saturday on Hope Junction. From 10 a.m.
Welcome back. Bar owners in Nyandarua County have been directed to fully close their businesses early on Monday, August 8th, and remain closed the whole of Tuesday. According to Nyandarua County Commissioner Amos Mariba, this is meant to give people ample time to fully participate in next week's general election. Mariba made the appeal in his All-Kalau town office after meeting top security officers to review security preparedness during and after the election. He also applauded candidates in the county for maintaining peace during their campaign period. The CC said enough security officers drawn from Police Critical Infrastructure Police Unit, that is CIPU, KWS, Prisons, NYS, and Kenya Forest Service will be deployed to keep peace on polls day and after the results are announced.
Mimi nataka tu kuhakikishia wakazi huu wa mji huu wa Nyandarua ya kwamba sisi kama National Police Service tumejiandaa vilivyo kuhakikisha kwamba uchaguzi huu ni wa haki, fanya kwa a very secure and safe environment. The issue ya counterfeits alcohol, counterfeit cigarette, the super much. Hizo ndazo ndio vile imekuwa very vibrant in this region. Na vile county commissioner amesema tumefanya bidii, tumeweza ku raid one of the factory in Daragwa na tumeweza kushika pombe mingi sana.
Watu wa baa tunawahimiza na kuwaomba, ni ombi tu kwao. Tunajua kwamba wako na biashara, wengine wako na leseni, wako na madeni wanatakiwa walipe, lakini tunawaomba siku hiyo ikifika saa 4 Jumatatu wafunge baa zao, alafu wasiuzie watu pombe wakati wa uchaguzi hadi tutakapomaliza uchaguzi. Naomba nichukue fursa hii niwahakikishie kwamba usalama katika kaunti utakuwa sawa kabisa. Vile mumeona vitengo vya usalama vyote tuko pamoja. Sisi tunafanya kazi kama timu na tuko hapa kuhakikishia kwamba Nyandarua itakuwa salama.
Now on to that special feature on the plight of trees. Water shortage and flooding in the city has been attributed to reduced urban forest cover. Daisy Love Nkirote brings us more on one of the largest urban forests in the city under the sun and the surrounding communities' plight to preserve what remains of it.
Trees are important to us. They give us shade. They reduce the impact of stormwater runoff. They reduce the effects of drought. But what happens when you cut a tree like this here? Join me as we get to learn more about Ngong Road Forest and the challenges they are facing.
Situated in the middle of a concrete jungle is Nairobi's largest indigenous urban forest. Ngong Road Forest, found between latitudes 1 degree and 19 minutes south, longitudes 36 degrees and 45 minutes north, is crossed by Ngong Road and Southern Bypass, separating the forest into 5 sections.
Ngong Road Forest is a very precious and unique forest. It is the biggest indigenous forest within a city in Kenya and beyond. It is a forest that is a very beautiful forest with a lot of indigenous trees, 80% indigenous and 20% exotic. I say it is the biggest indigenous forest within the city because as you look around the forest, we have some of the biggest natural green habitats that are left within the city. We also have other green spaces in the city, like Karura Forest. We have the Arboretum, we have the City Park, and also we have the Nairobi National Park. But Ngong Road Forest is the biggest intact indigenous forest within the city. The forest is unfortunately divided into 5 blocks because of the road network. So we have the Miotoni block, we have the Lenana block, the Karen block, we have the Sanctuary block where we are, which is the biggest. We also have the Bomas block. So we have 5 blocks that make Ngong Road Forest.
Currently, only 1,224 hectares remain. This land is guarded jealously under the management of 4 stakeholders: Ngong Road Forest Association, Kenya Forest Service, Rhino Arc, and the neighboring communities. Their aim is to protect, conserve, and save the forest from further destruction in 2 stages. Stage 1. It involves setting up forest security and basic infrastructure, such as fencing. Stage 2 involves setting up sustainable community and visitor activities that promote environmental conservation, community engagement and employment, education, as well as recreation.
The forest is facing quite a number of challenges. The biggest one being that of the security of the forest. The forest itself is not safe from excisions or attempted land grabbing because the forest is not fenced. And we believe once the forest is fenced, the forest itself and the biodiversity and whatever it carries will be safe. And the same case will apply to the users of the forest, they will also be safe. The other challenge that the forest is facing is illegal activities that happen once in a while, like illegal dumping. Because like I say, the forest is not fenced, so people can access from any side and do some illegal dumping. Other than illegal dumping, we also have illegal activities happening once in a while, sporadic, like tree poaching, people coming in to cut some wood for firewood and for carving. We also have some opportunistic criminals who, once they commit crime, they run into the forest to hide.
Ngong Road Forest is in the process of establishing a secure perimeter fence for each of the 5 sections. In 2014, local and private stakeholders raised 10 million Kenya shillings to install fencing in Miotoni section. This was completed on 20th June of that year and now receives 700 visitors monthly.
Currently, we managed to fence the first block, Miotoni block, which is the smallest. We still have 4 blocks to go. It's quite a huge task, quite a budget. It costs 1.8 million shillings to fence 1 kilometer and maintain it for some time. Because a fence is as good as it is maintained. So there's a budget for the fencing, and there's also the budget for the maintenance. So we have managed to do the first block, which is doing very well, and it is open to the public. It's now up and running. We have the 4 blocks that are remaining. We have started a fundraising campaign to raise funds for the rest of the forest. And we believe once the forest is fenced, we'll have more people coming in, more uses for the forest. We'll be able to raise funds now to fence the entire forest. All the blocks will be fenced.
Local residents also help in contributing to security efforts through planting of 50,000 indigenous trees since 2003.
So far, like I mentioned, we have the first block fenced, so we have the other 4. And we've so far managed to get some little funding from activities events we held. We had an event with a Green Spoon, and they managed to raise 200,000. And we also had a donation, more like a compensation from the Water Works Development Agency. It's an agency that is developing a sewer through the forest. And one of the things that we discussed with them is that they have to donate towards the protection of the entire forest. And we are hopefully going to be, within a short time, we are going to be able to fence at least the Sanctuary block, which is the biggest and maybe the most unique of all the blocks.
Ngong Road Forest is home to a variety of species of both plants and animals. Nicholas, a ranger scout at Ngong Road Forest Association, took us round explaining to us the different species and what they're used for.
This forest has got so many different species of trees. That's next one to this one here. This one of the dominant species of trees in this forest, and this one is called the Vempris simplifolia, and that's the botanical name, and the locals will call it Moderendo. So these are species, mostly you like that it's being liked by the people who live in Kibera, because it's very good for the firewood, because it doesn't need to be too dry for them to come and start and cut it. They just cut it and just go make a fire, and the fire will just make a very good fire. Even the customers who are buying the fire from the areas where they're coming from, they prefer this one because it has got a very good charcoal and also makes a good fire for them. Then we also have another species here. This one is called Croton megalocarpus. The locals call it Mukinduri. So it's one of the dominant species of trees in this forest. This one, I hear the people saying that the seeds has got an oil on it. So there's something that maybe they were considering, maybe in future they'll be extracting oil from the croton seeds. Yeah.
Mr. Simon Nganga encourages Kenyans to take up the civic duty to protect, manage and conserve the environment and natural resources as per the Kenyan Constitution.
Without the trees that usually absorb that carbon and all that pollution, our city will be in a mess. So it's a very precious and unique resource that needs collective protection.
Ngong Road Forest seeks to preserve this jewel and is doing so through contributions from well-wishers. If you would like to do so, visit their website as displayed below. Let's help our community fence a forest. I am Daisy Love Kirote, reporting for Hope TV.
Thank you, Daisy and team, for that special feature. Now, moving on, former Nyali Member of Parliament Hezron Awiti has refuted recently released opinion polls showing that Mvita Member of Parliament and ODM Mombasa Governor candidate Abdul Swamad Nasir are leading the race, saying it is a way of hoodwinking the electorate. Awiti, who is taking a second shot at the seat on his vibrant Democratic Party ticket, remained upbeat that he was going to win the election. Awiti was addressing community leaders drawn from Mombasa during a meeting held at the Wild Waters. Awiti promised to unite all communities living and working in Mombasa if elected governor and ensure equity in distribution of county resources and provision of services, as he alleged discrimination in the current regime. Now, a senatorial candidate in Embu has embarked on a door-to-door campaign to charm voters as campaigns enter home stretch ahead of the August 9th general elections. Alexander Mundigi, who is vying on a Democratic Party DP ticket and perhaps the least endowed financially in the hotly contested race that has attracted 12 candidates, has exuded confidence of capturing the seat. Unlike his contestants, Mundigi has been running his campaigns without billboards, posters, or branded vehicles owing to limited resources. Now, Nyandarua County government on Thursday morning issued letters of offer to 200 new ECD teachers, bringing the number of permanently employed ECDE tutors to 581. The first batch of 381 teachers received their letters in May during the launch of the working scheme, reducing the teacher-pupil ratio from 1 to 60 to 1 to 40. Employment of the ECDE teachers increases the county wage bill by about 250 million annually in salaries and other allowances. While issuing the letters, Governor Francis Kimemia directed the Human Resource Department to ensure the teachers were fully supported to implement the newly developed CBC curriculum. He noted that his administration has invested heavily in the improvement and modernization of ECDE centers across the county. 86 ECDE classrooms have been completed, 21 are ongoing, and 31 sanitation facilities completed, while 15 are ongoing.
We are adding 200 tutors to ECD. You are here another day for the 381, and now we are taking ECD to another new level with 200 tutors.
ECD is good to appreciate the people-teacher ratio. Wale ambao mnajua ratio ya mwalimu kufundisha watoto ngapi? The recommended ratio is 25. We used to be 60. From today, it will be 40 pupils in a class. A teacher for 40. You know, that means a teacher in the payroll for 40. I know wazazi wetu wanaiba wale wengine. So we have been able to move to 40. So we shall be moving progressively to 25 as the budgets allow and as we continue to motivate. Ili usiwe na watoto wengi kwa darasa. Uwe na watoto 25, wengine ni watoto wadogo wameacha kunyonya, wameingia miaka mitatu, wameingia huku. So watoto 60, you can imagine 60 children crying. Utakimbilia gani na utaacha gani?
Well, let us now take a look at the international news roundup with Faith Selfa.
Nigeria's broadcast regulator has fined 4 broadcasters, including MultiChoice Nigeria Limited, $12,000 each for airing a BBC documentary on activities of bandit gangs in northwestern Nigeria. The National Broadcasting Commission said the documentary glorified the activities of bandits and undermines national security and contravened the provisions of the Nigeria Broadcasting Code. Earlier on, the BBC said the story is overwhelmingly in the public interest and that it stands by its journalism. The other broadcasters fined include Telkom Satellite Limited, TSTV, NTA, StarTimes Limited, and Trust Television Network, Trust TV. All outlets have until the 30th August to pay the fine. The Senegalese opposition has called for the official publication of the results of Sunday's parliamentary to be postponed. The Electoral Commission is due to make a formal announcement on Thursday, but the leader of the opposition coalition alliance, Death Fall, said a postponement would give it time to identify irregularities. Another alliance official cited alleged fraud at polling stations in northern regions. On Monday, both the opposition alliance and the governing coalition of President Macky Sall claimed victory on the basis of partial results. China fired multiple missiles around Taiwan as it launched unprecedented military drills a day after a visit by U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi to the self-ruled island that Beijing regards as its sovereign territory. China's Eastern Theater Command said it had completed multiple firings of conventional missiles on waters off the eastern coast of Taiwan as part of the planned exercises. Taiwan officials have said the drills violate United Nations rules, invade Taiwan's territorial space, and are a direct challenge to free air and sea navigation. Moving on, a forested area almost the size of 3 football pitches was on fire in western Berlin after a blaze broke out at a bomb disposal site during a citywide heatwave. The fire service said that the blaze had spread across 15,000 square meters in the German capital's Grunewald, a vast woodland area home to upscale villas, popular swimming lakes, and the sealed-off ammunition dump. Emergency services reported a number of explosions in the area where a 1,000-meter radius has been blocked off. A spokesperson for before the fire service said no residential areas were affected. For Hope TV's Newswatch, I am Faith Selfa.
Hope TV is now available on GoTV Channel 103, Zuku Channel 873, Signet Channel 817 and Star Times Channel 026. Enjoy our uplifting content and family-friendly programming anytime. Hope TV, you look and live. On Hope Junction, every Saturday, get to enjoy songs that cater to the young and young at heart. Let the beat keep your head nodding.
Right now, but your love is amazing. Make we just
That's every Saturday on Hope Junction. From 10 a.m.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at business. President Uhuru Kenyatta has made an inspection visit to Eni, Kenya, the country's first agri-hub that produces vegetable oil and related bioproducts. The agri-hub, located at Kwa Kadhoka in Makueni County, started production last month and has already employed close to 200 workers, mostly young people from the county. Eni Kenya, which is a subsidiary of the Italian multinational company, in July last year signed an agreement with the government of Kenya to promote the circular economy by setting up 20 agri-hubs for production of biofuels and related bioproducts, with the Makueni Agri-Hub as the first. Addressing workers during the inspection visit, President Kenyatta encouraged them to work hard so that the factory can expand rapidly and create more jobs and farmers' income and help to reduce the cost of fuel.
Mufanye na bidii jameni, hii ndio future ya Kenya hapa. Ndio watu wasitusiwe tunalia kila saa, wengine wakiongeza mafuta, tuwe na mafuta yetu. Ama ni namna gani jameni? Sini hivyo? Na wakulima wetu hii mbegu hii yote inakuwa hapa tu. Wakulima wetu waweze kupata pesa, nyinyi mupate kazi, bei ya mafuta ishuke. Kwani nini ingine tunatafuta jameni? Sini hiyo?
Still in business, the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, KEPSA, has launched the CEO's Business Confidence Index Report 2022, showing that most business executives expect a stable economy after elections to support higher industry business growth. With the current CEO's Business Confidence Index standing at 61 points overall, the business executives also expressed optimism to hire additional full-time employees in the next 6 months, which will translate to increased business operations. The report, developed in partnership with Tifa Research, shows the hospitality and tourism sector as the most optimistic sector at 68 index points, given that the sector is recovering from a worse situation occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic compared to other sectors. It is followed by the building and construction and wholesale and retail sectors, both standing at 62 index points.
The business leaders' optimism has increased against the backdrop of the Ukraine war that has disrupted value chains, resulting in price increases in fuel and energy, wheat and fertilizer prices, which are critical inputs for Kenya's manufacturing and agriculture sector, coupled with a drop in the supply of the dollar, leading to depreciation of the Kenya shilling, as well as the drought, where Kenya is facing the largest drought in 40 years, and I know many other parts of the world are facing the same. But we also are the backdrop of COVID, so we're also recovering from COVID, which Kenya has been doing pretty well.
So we asked 3 questions mainly, and those are the ones that I used to compute the confidence index. And the first question is their perceptions of the current economic conditions vis-a-vis 6 months ago. And then the second one is the expectation of the economy 6 months ahead. And then the expectation of their own industry 6 months ahead. So the combination of that is used to compute what you call a composite index. And that's what we are showing today as a business leader's confidence.
So from where you're standing as a CEO, how do you compare your current conditions vis-a-vis 6 months ago? How do you compare your current conditions vis-a-vis the next 6 months? That's a whole 1 year assessment.
On to sports. Africa's fastest man, Ferdinand Omurwa Omanyala, won Kenya its first gold medal at the 2022 Commonwealth Games after powering to victory in the men's 100 meters final on Wednesday night. Omanyala clocked 10 minutes and 2 seconds under a windy situation to become the first Kenyan since Seraphine Antao, who won gold in 1960 in the sprints at a major championship. Akani Simbine from South Africa finished second after running in 10 minutes 13 seconds to take silver, as Sri Lankan Yupon Abeykun took bronze in 10 minutes 14 seconds. Meanwhile, President Uhuru Kenyatta has joined Kenyans in congratulating Omanyala for winning Kenya's first gold medal in the ongoing Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, UK. In a statement, the president said the win is a groundbreaking achievement, not just for Omanyala, but for the whole of Kenya's athletics, because he has excelled in a domain that's not traditionally Kenyans.
Yeah, I was feeling very nice when I started the Commonwealth Games, and I knew I'm going to have it. So not putting pressure on myself, just coming out, enjoying the game and having fun and delivering the goal. It's all about controlling the rest from the start, and I'm glad that I got a good start today, and I was in front, I think, for the rest of the 100 meters. So that's what I wanted, and I achieved that. So thank you. But the fans were, just loving, and I really loved the energy that was in there, and that really pushed me again. You have to forget where you're coming from. I mean, we can't change the past. We can't go back in time like movies. So you just have to pick yourself up and focus on the next, because the Commonwealth Games was coming in less than 2 weeks. So it was all about just focusing and putting our mind together for the games, and I'm happy that I came here and win the gold.
Great achievement indeed. And Chelsea have signed Aston Villa 18-year-old Kani Chukwuemeka on a 6-year contract for a fee in the region of £20 million. The midfielder made 12 Premier League appearances last season, but only started twice, and it is understood he is keen to get more top-flight game time. Meanwhile, Leicester City captain Kasper Schmeichel has left the club after 11 years and joined League One since Nice. Schmeichel made 479 appearances for the Foxes after signing from Leeds, winning the Premier League, FA Cup and Community Shield. He was also part of the side that won the championship in 2013 to 2014. And we have come to the end of Newswatch this evening. Thank you for watching. I'm Tess Njenga, and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. Have a good night and enjoy the rest of your viewing. Doing. Tuko na wewe Fei. From the city of Nairobi. Ni hizi vitu ziko hapa kwa kiti. Siwezi fanya nimeketi hivi, si unachukua half.